Hello and welcome to another match reaction show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. We got the result in the end as Liverpool beat Sheffield United 3-1. The scoreline may suggest that it was a comfortable win, but it was far from it. Early into the game, which we'll discuss shortly. But before you do, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It only takes a few seconds and it will go a long way to help the channel grow and reach new audiences. So let's begin with the match review. First half, it was far too open for my liking. Sheffield United actually almost scored in the opening minute of the game, but Kelleher makes the important save. Sheffield United continued to press, but didn't mount any serious shots on goal. But luckily for Liverpool, they managed to break the deadlock in the 17th minute as Sheffield United keeper Gribic tries to make a routine clearance, but Darwin Núñez hounds him down and manages to block the challenge. But not only that, the ball ends up rolling into the back of the net to give Liverpool the lead. A lucky finish, but hey, who cares at this stage of the season? And after that, Liverpool were in control of the game, playing more possession football and looked very comfortable as they headed into half-time. But in the second half, Liverpool were hit with a huge blow as Sheffield United equalised. As the ball lofted from the right-hand side, the target was Burton Diaz, but somehow Hammer creeps in behind and hits the ball into the 6-yard area. But unfortunately, Conor Bradley gets a toe and the ball ends up going through Kelleher's leg. So at that stage, I can't lie, I was a bit nervous and a bit tense. But I looked at the clock and thought, we've still got half an hour to score a goal. It's not end of the world. Klopp then made some wholesale substitutions and changed the tactics as we were set up as a 4-2-4 system. And that basically meant one thing: we were going to go all guns blazing to try and grab that winner. But we did more than that. In the 76th minute, Alexis McAllister, aka Mac 10, scores an absolute screamer into the top corner. What a goal it was. I'll be watching that goal on repeat after this show ends. Perfect execution, sublime effort from our midfield maestro. The crowd goes wild, and even myself during the watch along, and rightly so. Pivotal moment, but it was important to manage the game properly after that goal and not give anything silly away. But we did one better as Robertson hits a glorious pass from deep and Cody Gakpo applies a fantastic guided header to give Liverpool a 3-1 scoreline, and that ended the game. And what a when it was. Some fans may focus on us conceding the goal, no clean sheet yet again, but you have to appreciate the mentality of our boys. They never panic, they play with calmness, and they get the job done. Signs of a true champion, if you ask me. But look, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. We got the win, which was the most important thing today, and we can now reclaim our spot at the top of the table. So on to the next game, which we all know, we've all been talking about the last few days, is Manchester United versus Liverpool this Sunday at Old Trafford. Revenge is probably on a lot of our minds. For me, let's just get the 3 points. Couldn't care less about that revenge sort of tone. 3 points is all we need to maintain our table. So before we close the show, it's time for me to do the player ratings. This is a calling show as well, guys. So if you'd like to come on, the link is pinned in the live chat. So let's begin with the player rating, and then we can discuss each performance in more detail. And let's start with Kelleher. So for me, a good performance from Kelleher. He made some good saves. That first minute one that I mentioned earlier on, that was really pivotal in terms of how we set up throughout the whole game. The goal, I can't really blame him for that. I know it's a position where he was quite close to Conor Bradley, but I think it took him by surprise. Conor Bradley probably didn't even realize that he moved his toe to try and get the ball. And because it was a quick sort of reaction or quick touch off the ball and went through his legs, it's unfortunate in terms of that moment there. It's very hard to block those sort of shots as it came at such speed. So I wouldn't put him at fault for that goal at all. But generally, I thought he was a calm presence at the back. His distribution was good, made some good saves whenever required. And that's what you want from a keeper, where He's not going to be active throughout the 9 minutes, but when he does, he's focused and keeps the ball out of the goal. And that's what you want from your goalkeeper. And he's not even our first choice. So Keller has definitely stepped up in the absence of Alisson. So no, another good performance from him yet again. So for his rating, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Conor Bradley, for me, had a good game as well. I think defensively, he worked really hard for the team, played in different positions, was infield at times, but definitely attacked that byline several times as well. For me, he was just lacking that final touch or final pass in the final third. But it was a tough game for him. He looked quite tired towards the end. I think that's due to the regular games that he's playing right now. But overall, I think he was a solid performance from him again. So for me, he gets a 7.5 out of 10 as well. Konate, I was slightly disappointed with his performance. Firstly, I was surprised that he was even included in the starting lineup due to the fact that he was rested over the weekend and he played a lot of minutes for France in international duty. So I thought to manage his minutes a bit more, it would have been wise to have rested him for this game, play Kwanzaa alongside Van Dijk, and then play him this Sunday against Manchester United. But Klopp maybe thought he needs a bit of game time, and this was a perfect game to do so. He had a decent start to the game, but in the second half, he looked a bit shaky for me. His tussle with Brereton Diaz on a few occasions, Diaz ended up getting the better of him, and he made a couple of silly challenges where he gave free kicks away. So I don't feel like he was very composed in his performance today. One thing that concerned me was his the foul on him. I forgot who the player is now. Osula, I think his name was. He came off the bench for Sheffield United, lashed out on Konate, and he landed very awkwardly. Looked like his studs were stuck towards the ground, and his knee was in a very awkward position as he landed. So thankfully, he was able to shake it off and continue. Hopefully, there's no effect, because when you're playing football and you're running with adrenaline right now, you don't feel those injuries until you stop playing. So hopefully he's okay. He's not twisted his knee or pulled a muscle or anything to that nature. And hopefully he'll be fit and ready for our important game on Sunday. But in terms of his performance, a solid, or should I say, decent performance. But I feel like he should have done better in certain situations for me. So I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. Van Dijk, for me, was fantastic in this game. Very commanding in every shape or form, whether it's from a defensive point of view or if it's from an attacking point of view, where he was the one that was probably the target in terms of the corner kicks. Did a couple of shots towards goal, wasn't able to score. There was that one chance that the keeper saved, which he was very close to scoring today. But defensively, very, very good. What impressed me more was when we conceded the goal. He looked calm. He was a calm presence in that pitch, and I feel like it reflected on other players. They didn't panic. They played their game, and then when we got the second goal, you can see him speaking to the players and making sure that they're focused, they're on top of the game, they're playing with the right tempo and making the right passes. So he's very vocal and he's communicating very well throughout the pitch, and you can see his leadership showing this season, which is fantastic. Obviously, he's the captain as well, but I feel like since he's been given an armband, he's really found his role in the team where he's more vocal and he's got a lot of young players around him, and I feel like he's guiding them fantastically. But today, I thought he had a very, very good performance. So for me, he gets an 8.5 out of 10. Joe Gomez, for me, had a decent performance today as well. Had a couple of shots towards goal. One where he just missed the target, so as he just missed the post, I would say, not the target. And then there was another shot with his left foot where, yeah, he missed the target completely. But general play, he was good. He was playing more inverted. I think he wasn't trying to occupy that wide area too much. Gave Luis Diaz the room and space to really exploit that byline, and I think that definitely helped us tactically. But then in the second half, when he switched over to midfield and Robertson came on, I think Robertson added a complete balance to that team, and we looked like a proper attacking threat from that left-hand side. That's where all of the creativity was coming in the last half an hour, which was all fair play and credit to Robertson, who I thought was fantastic when he came on. But in terms of Joe Gomez, I feel like he performed to a decent level. So for me, he gets a 7.5 out of 10 as well. If you guys are watching live, feel free to drop your comments and the score of each players as I'm going through them right now. McAllister. Oh, what a performance from McAllister. Forget the goal for 1 second. In terms of how he played, playing the number 6 role where he hasn't played in that position for a few weeks now. He made it look effortless. He was so good on the ball, intercepted so many times. Very, very good on the ball. Very rarely gave it away as well. So yeah, overall fantastic all-round performance from our number 10. And that goal, whew, absolutely sensational finish from our midfielder there. I want to say it's every week. 35 million, daylight robbery. We've got one hell of a player on our hands, and doesn't matter what role he plays in the team, always gives it his all. Such a great technician on the ball, great passing range. By shooting, he almost scored a free kick as well moments later where he hit the inside of the crossbar. So unlucky. I thought I was going in as well. But overall, a fantastic performance. The second goal wasn't the winner, but I definitely felt like the weight was off the player's shoulders and the crowd felt relieved as well. So for me, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10, just like his shirt number. So he gets a 10. For me, he was fantastic in this performance. Now let's go on to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai had a good game for me. Definitely showed variation in his play, whether he played on the left side or the right side of the centre midfield area. Definitely tried to make things happen. He was more dynamic than the other players around him. In terms of his final pass, I feel like he could have been a bit better, sloppy at times, but generally better performance from him. I thought he was quite good against Brighton, and I feel like today he wasn't quite up to that level, but he's finding his fitness again. He's finding his rhythm in the team. So for me, another decent performance, should be raring to go against Manchester United. So for me, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Gravenberch, for me, I'm not going to be too harsh. I think he was a little bit disappointing today. His first touch was all over the place. Decision making wasn't quite there as well. Like, he picked a lot of the wrong passes, overplayed it when he dribbled with the ball as well. So not the best of performances from Gravenberch, but you have to put context into the situation as well. He hasn't played for almost 5 to 6 weeks with an ankle injury. It's his first start. He's very rarely actually come off the bench as well. If he has, he's only played a few minutes. So for me, he's still finding his rhythm, still finding that match fitness that will, make sure that he's on top of his game. His first touch is a bit more better and he's dribbling with more purpose. So good performance, good sort of like for him to be selected and get some minutes under his belt. I don't think he'll start in the next game, but he'll be a good option from the bench. So for me, he gets a 6 out of 10. And let's start with Mohamed Salah. For me, had a decent game, wasn't involved as much, to be brutally honest. And yeah, he didn't really play the way he played against Brighton. Obviously, that's more from a tactical approach, where I feel like the way he played as an inside forward against Brighton really suited his skill set. In this game, it was a bit more on the byline. Had moments in terms of in front of goal. No clear-cut shots. Had a lot of shots where he just didn't have enough bend or enough finesse to hit the back of the net. There was that one shot where he tried to lob the keeper. Wasn't able to score. Tipped over by Gerbic in the end. But no, I would say an average performance from him. Nothing great, nothing bad in terms of what he did. Only played the hour of the game. I think that was planned. I don't think it was down to his performance as such. I think Klopp wanted to only play him an hour, take him off. He looked frustrated, which I understand. But we have to manage his minutes as well and make sure he's ready for the big game on Sunday. So for me, he gets a 7 out of 10 for his rating today. Núñez, for me, got on the score sheet. And that goal all came from him. That was all his play. That was his pressing. That was his persistence to, even though in those situations, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, you're not going to get any touch when a goalkeeper is trying to do a routine clearance. But he was persistent, kept at it, and in the end got some luck, managed to hit the bottom of his foot and rolled into the back of the net. So look, doesn't matter how you score them goals, as long as they hit the back of the net and they count, that's all we care about as fans. So got on the score sheet, but in terms of his general performance, I felt like he was quiet at some parts of the game, especially in the second half. Hold-up play was decent. I remember a couple of moments where he held the ball really well. And the first half, he was pretty much everywhere. There was moments where he was attacking the left, then he was on the right, but not having too much impact on the game, in my opinion. So I would say he had an average performance again today, so I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. I know it seems a bit harsh because he was the goal scorer, but in terms of his general play, I didn't think he contributed as much as I would have liked. But that's just my rating there. In terms of Luis Diaz, yeah, he was definitely one of our better attackers in this game. What's that fella's name? Bogle, who is the right back for Sheffield United. Poor guy. Yeah. Diaz was on smoke today in terms of attacking that byline. Bogle just didn't know what to do with him. At times, there's like 2-3 players marking or trying to stop Diaz from having any influence in the game. I thought he was really good, very persistent on the ball. Had some close moments where he almost hit the back of the net himself. Showed some good trickery and flair and skill in a couple of moments. I remember that one moment in the first half where he took on two players. Great piece of skill from him there. But yeah, no, good performance from him again. Definitely a great outlet to have on that left-hand side. And I feel like he's developing his game a little bit more, where he's coming in field a lot more, but he's a bit more calculated and understands what he needs to do when he's in field. He doesn't seem lost as he has done previously in the season. So no, another good performance from our Colombian winger there. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. So that's my rating for the players. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Let me know your ratings. Let me know if I've been too harsh or too kind for some of the players. Love to hear from you guys. Now, in terms of my man of the match, it's only one person. You can always see who's got the highest score. That is Alexis McAllister, aka Mac10. He gets my man of the match. Just going to go through the comments here. Andy, Bill Andy, who made a great prediction in my watch along and actually predicted 3-1 as a scoreline. So fair play, Andy. And his man of the match, like mine, is McAllister. So yeah, on the same wavelength, Andy, definitely the man of the match. I think the closest person would have been Van Dijk or Diaz, but yeah, McAllister was just phenomenal. Everyone on the pitch, and that finish as well was absolutely sublime. So yeah, me and you on the same wavelength there, Andy. What I'll do now before I close the show, I will talk about the substitutes because I feel like they had such a great impact on the game. I rate subs anyway, but I think today we have to even more so discuss their individual performance because they were really, really good. So the players that came on, it was Harvey Elliott on for Mohamed Salah. And then you've got Robertson on for Gravenberch. I will swap the players around. I don't know why I'm typing in Robbo, like this website knows nicknames. Robertson, and then you've got Gakpo coming on for Joe Gomez. And then we have the final sub, which was Jones coming on for Dominic Szoboszlai. So here we go. Towards the latter stage of the games, we end up playing a 4-2-4 formation. So Robertson in the back four, McAllister and Jones. And then you had Nunes. Then you had Diaz over here. And then we had Gakpo over there. So let's move these guys a bit up. So it looks a bit more in proportion. There we go. So let's start with Harvey Elliott because he was the first sub that came on. I feel like he had a good cameo when he came, actually. Very positive in his play. There was moments in the game I feel like we looked quite flat. We didn't really have any sort of creativity in our play. Very predictable, just doing the side passes here and there. But I feel like when Harvey Elliott came on, he definitely just added a different spark. He'd on the right side, he'd have a nice touch and he'll dink quite a few crosses that led to corners, and it really troubled the Sheffield United defense. So for me, he definitely had a positive impact when he came on. So for me, he gets a decent rating today. So for Harvey Elliott, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. And the next player, Robertson. Fantastic performance from Robertson. The only disappointing thing, I don't want to be a downer, the only disappointing thing was his effort on goal. I'm trying to think who did the pass, but it was a great pass. I think it might have been Elliott. And then it came towards Robertson. Somehow he missed the target. He was around the edge of the 6-yard box on the half volley, completely missed the target. So that was disappointing for me. But fair play to him. He didn't, discourage him to go on and keep playing. He was fantastic. Really, really energetic performance, driving the ball non-stop on that left-hand side. And he provided that cross, that assist for Cody Gakpo, which was a phenomenal ball for me in the end. So no, very, very positive performance from Robertson. It looks like he's picked up his form, looks like his old self again. Perfect timing, as we're famous in Manchester United on the weekend. So for me, an 8 out of 10 for Robertson. Cody Gakpo, a player that from some parts of the fan base has been treated harshly in terms of people saying, sell him, he's rubbish, get rid of him. And then you have fans like myself who critique players based on what they see what I see on the pitch and how they perform. So I'll be brutally honest, he hasn't performed to a good level for quite a number of weeks. And I always feel like he's lacking confidence. It's quite obvious to tell when he's playing. And I always feel like he just needed that goal to help light up something in him where he can go on and play with more freedom, more expression in the way he plays. And I feel like today, that goal, firstly, what a fantastic finish from him. Lovely headed goal into the bottom corner. But after that, he looked so positive, so good on the ball. But to be fair, even when he came off before he scored that goal, when he came on before he scored that goal, he was very energetic, very good on the ball, tried to make things happen, offered a couple low crosses. I like to see him on that left side a bit more. Some fans do not like it at all. I feel like that's his natural game. He just knows what to do. When he's up front, I don't feel like he quite understands the role, especially as he's playing a false nine. He hasn't got that sort of awareness as such, but for me, he's not aggressive to be the player that leads the line in a central position. So I feel like a player that can fill in gaps, he can play that central role, but I feel like he's more suited on that left-hand side. And that was pivotal in the way he was set up tactically, allowed Diaz to go a bit more infield, and then he occupied that left-hand side a little bit more. So no, fantastic performance, but a very positive performance. And if you watch the interview after the game, McAllister was speaking very highly of him, saying, you have to give him credit in terms of his mentality. He's always positive and he's a good influence and a leader within the squad. So it shows how much the team and the players respect Cody Gakpo. And I feel like sometimes as a fan base, we lose sight of that, especially when a player isn't doing well. But, we're all fans. We're all emotional at times. But I feel like you have to give his flowers. And today, I think he had a good cameo. Whether he starts in the next game or not, we'll see. But at least I know that even if he doesn't start, we should have a player in high spirit and should come on and make a good impact against Manchester United. So in terms of his performance today, I'm going to give him a good score as well. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 as well. I thought it was very impressive when he came on. Curtis Jones. Oh, have we missed Curtis Jones? Good to see him back on the pitch. Yeah, he was just effortless on the ball. Really, really good. What impresses me the most about Jones nowadays is his ability to just hold off any player that comes charging to get the ball off him. plays with such authority now where, that football is his personal ball. Doesn't give it away whatsoever. So, yeah, I like the way he plays now. I feel like he's so calm and collected on the ball. Always makes the right passes. Doesn't go for those Hollywood passes that he probably did in his younger days. Keeps it neat, keeps it tidy, and yeah, keeps the ball ticking around the pitch. And I thought he was fantastic. Came on at the right time for me as well. Has a very positive influence in the team, especially as we were playing a 4-2-4, as you can see on the screen. So he needed to be a bit more disciplined in his play. So no, very, very impressed with how he performed. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10 as well. And is that all of the players? And that is all of the players. So yeah, that is my player ratings for Liverpool in this game. And that also concludes the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Andy for your comment. Appreciate your interaction as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I've done a watch along earlier on today, done a match reaction, but we're not done for tonight. We've got one more show before we end the evening, which will be taking place in about 20 minutes as I do the match preview of Manchester United versus Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp and Van Dijk pretty much said it after the game where they were like, our focus on the next game is now. The preparations begin. So I'm the same as well. The preparations for that match starts with me in 20 minutes as well. So please make sure to come and join the show. And yeah, got the win in the end, guys. We're top of the league, which is what we wanted. Yeah, long may it continue. So thank you as always, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Stay safe. And I hope to see you all very, very shortly. Goodbye.